Hey, hope everybody is still doing okay. All right, this week you just got a few things, but they're important. So number one is Lab Exam 2. That is the one where we've covered the skull a couple weeks ago. And then last week we covered the axial skeleton. So that's where we were talking about vertebrae, your rib cage, your sacrum, your sternum, all of that. That test is going to be open for you Monday and Tuesday, so October 5th and 6th. It's really similar to the last lab exam. There's about 65, 66 questions, and you got about a minute per question. Time was not an issue for anybody. Last test we had, I think it was 34 questions. The longest anybody took was like 20 minutes, and most everyone was getting done a lot sooner than that. So don't let that scare you. But that's going to be Monday and Tuesday, all right? So hopefully you have been watching the lab videos when I've been assigning them. Remember, those are on your checklist announcement. Those are in the My Tasks section. It's going to tell you everything that you've got that you need to do each week. But just in case you happen to see this early before the test and you need to have a quick brush up, remember, if you go to the Lab tab, there's a folder that says Lab Exam 2 material. It's got a list of all the bones and the bone markings that you need to know for this test. I have videos where I walk through the models and the labeled images and make sure that you know what all those things look like. So use that kind of as a refresher. There is also I didn't really point it out that much, but there's a review PowerPoint. So I had a student a couple semesters ago who took all of those lab images, and all she did was she covered up the answers. If you'll pull up that PowerPoint and then open it up as a presentation, every time you click, it's going to show you one of the answers. It's going to take one of those boxes away and show you what the right answer is. That's a really good way to study. That's a really good way to prepare and make sure that you know everything. All right. So that's the big thing early in the week, Monday and Tuesday. After that, you've got another lecture to watch. So last week we did Chapter 7, Part 1, and that was all of the background information and the microscopic structures of your skeletal system. We talked about how bones form, when they break, how they heal, and all that information. Part 2 is going to be just a rundown of everything in the skeletal system that we didn't get to last time. So at the very end of Part 1, we talked about the skull and all the skull bones. We're going to pick up there and talk about your vertebrae and then go all the way through the rest of your skeletal system. Okay? So that is going to be the other thing that you have to do this week. Watch that lecture video. Last week I opened up the Learn Smart assignment for Chapter 7, so you can do that if you haven't done that already. All right. And then finally, the only other thing we have is just a reminder that next week, Monday and Tuesday, so October 12th and 13th, that is your lecture exam 2. All right. So that covered Chapter 6, which was the integumentary system, your skin. And then Chapter 7, the skeletal system that we split up into 2 different parts. All right, so that's it for this week. Just focus on that test. Once you get that out of the way, shift over to looking at the lecture, and then start studying for the lecture test that's coming up. Okay, I think I said this earlier, but just in case I didn't, just a reminder, the lab exams, they're only worth 50 points, so don't panic. Like if you say, oh, I know I did better than a 46, it's out of 50, so that's the good news. Your lecture exam, which is next week, lecture exams are out of 100 though. Okay. If you have any questions about any of that, let me know and I can help. Thanks.